and today I want to speak to you about a tip for sitting in a more comfortable position when you're at your desk, either at home or at work. And we're going to focus mainly on what's going on with your hips. So a few scenarios of how you may be sitting on a day-to-day basis. You may be sitting with your feet tucked under your chair with one leg crossed over the other. Another common one is feet out in front of you, again with one leg crossed over the other. Sitting with one leg crossed over the knee, and then the other side, same sort of thing, ankle crossed over your knee. That's another way you might be sitting. Just to show you what that looks like in terms of what's going on with your hips. Well, if you are sitting in any of those positions, what's happening there is the muscles in the back of your hips are constantly being shortened. They're in a state of tension, and those muscles will become chronically tight. The significance there is you have nerves that go from your lower back that pass through those muscles in the back of the hips and then go down the legs. And that group of nerves, once it gets compressed in those muscles behind your hips, can cause pain, pins and needles, tingling, numbness, and even weakness down the legs and the lower limbs. So instead of holding that position where those muscles are going to become chronically tight, what you want to try and do is hold a position where those muscles are going to be lengthened a little bit more. And the way to do that is simply by sitting with your knees pointing straight up. If you're like me and you've got short legs, you might not be able to adopt that position just by sitting in a normal chair. So what you may do is you may just grab yourself a towel or a cushion that you can place at the back of your chair just to help prop the hips up. And that way what you can see is that my hips are a little bit higher up than my knees. When I'm looking at my knees, I want to make sure that I can see my toes just over the knees. So that way I'll know that if my toes are back behind my knees and I can't see them, that's not the correct position. I need to see my toes just over my knees. And then another useful tip is to have a tennis ball handy and just put that between the knees to ensure that your knees stay pointed straight up. That way these muscles, the muscles behind your hips, are going to get an active lengthening, and the inner thigh muscles, which are often neglected, are going to be getting more of an active strengthening. So just to show you front on what that looks like, I've got my hips higher than my knees. I'm looking over my knees and I can see my toes. Don't want those knees to drop out, so I've got my little reminder tool here, squeezing that tennis ball. And then there you have it. Just a much better position to sit at when you're sitting for extended periods of time, like I said, either at home or at work. And you don't only have to apply this to when you're sitting actually on the computer doing this type of work. You might apply it to other settings as well. When you're sitting watching TV, when you're sitting eating dinner, when you're sitting catching up with friends. So basically any time you're sitting, think about adopting that position with your knees pointing straight up. Another one, a big one, is also when you're driving as well. Instead of reclining back into the seat and working those pedals with your knees out, try and work the pedals with your knees pointing straight up. So give that a go, and you can let us know in the comments below how you go. Let us know if you're feeling those inner thigh muscles, and let us know how you feel in general with your hips and your lower back. See you next time.